beautiful scratches here. Anyways, okay, live streams going on the YouTube as well. Anyways, hello everybody. So today it is these three teas. Now there's also the GABA, but we'll get to the GABA in a minute. I usually don't touch the GABA. I just get it in a big bag and I just put it someplace where it gets really, really hot. Hey, how's it going? Hey, Lausche, hey, Cam, how's it going? And so what I do with the GABA is I just get it in and then I place it on a shelf and I don't even touch it. So I haven't opened it. I haven't done anything with it, nothing with the GABA. And I leave the GABA up on the shelf and it gets really, really hot up on the shelf. And then in usually mid-June, I'll open it up and see if it's ready to go yet. But usually I don't even release it until the summertime. But anyways, this year is the Snow Mist teas. Now in a minute we'll go over and see what each one of these look like, and then lucky me, I get to drink them. Lucky me. But these teas are, for me anyways, I don't know, should I get all controversial and talk about other tea vendors? No, maybe I'll hint at some stories. Anyways, point is, this garden, and just to say straight up, thank you everybody who's watching this or will watch this in the future, because the ability to actually sell these teas and share them and get them out there, it's really, really, really hard to find people who are educated and willing enough to buy teas that are this expensive, that are fresh teas. And, you have to reach a certain level of both trust in me and the place and in these, and education yourself to be able to spend money on these teas, because other people cannot do it. They cannot. They just cannot. They're not. It's like the stinkiest of the stinky cheese that tastes like caramel when you eat it, right? And it's super expensive. Well, this doesn't, without the stinky part. Anyways, super expensive cheese. People don't buy it, and some just close shop. Yes, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody who's still in business. It was, maybe I'll tell that story. It was, the point is to be able to. For somebody like me to be able to buy these teas and sell them again and have a positive feedback loop and have everybody happy, the people who make the tea to be able to sell it, the people like me to be able to buy it, like it's so expensive to buy it and sell it out again and, make a little bit of a profit. And then for the people who buy it and appreciate it and love it. I mean, it's just like, so thank you for that, because it's so hard to make money doing the right thing. And anybody out there who knows it, right? You all know that it's so hard to make money doing the right thing. And I'm a pretty humble person. Then I'm not, if I say that. But anyways, I don't need to be rich, and so selling this tea, it works really, really well, and it's pretty amazing that I can do it. But anyways, let's get into it. First thing, I've been selling this tea, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years. Maybe 5 years. Anyways, about 3 years ago, there was a spring harvest that wasn't the best. So the spring harvest about 3 years ago, the white tea and the black tea were fine, but the oolong was flat. It was just flat. Then last year, the oolong was a little better. It wasn't spectacular. But like 3 years ago and 4 years ago, the oolong was just spectacular. And this year, it's not back to the super, super, super spectacular side of things, but it's to the certainly better than the last 2 years. It's certainly better than the last 2 years. Now, let's take a look at what it is. Now, it's so fascinating, right? So take a look at this. So I'm going to hold this up so you guys can see it, right? Both cameras. Okay, there we go. Both cameras got that. This is the white tea, right? So this is the white tea. And you can see here's the bud and 2 leaves. And it's picked and it's placed and it's dried. And that's all they do. Now, there's a secret. They do, the tea master does go in once or twice and go like this to the bottom of the racks. And and then the tea sort of go like this, but I'm not supposed to say that. Anyways, but this is this is what the white tea looks like. Now here's the deal, and this is the really fascinating part. Every single tea is all exactly the same pick. So they pick for about 3 days, and every single tea that the pickers go through and they pick and they pick and they pick. And then the tea will come up to the factory, and then the tea master will smell it, take a look at it, be like, black, oolong, white. And so every single tea is picked exactly the same. And then the guy, right, the man, the master, will take a look at the tea and see what it is and be like, turn that into a white tea, turn that into a black tea, turn that into an oolong tea. And so each one of these teas, here's the black tea here. So the black tea, you can see during the rolling process, you know, the leaves will fall off, but it's exactly the same pick, right? So here are the leaves, and here's sort of the stem, right? But it's the exact same process for all of these teas, including the oolongs over here. Now, with the oolongs tend to stay on the stem a little bit more than the black teas because they're a little bit less manipulated. Oh, here we go. So here's a good example. So the oolongs, you can see them here. Oh, I just broke off the leaf. Anyways, the oolongs tend to stay on the stem a little bit more. But you also get sort of like loose leaves like this. So that's what you're looking at, right? So there is the oolong, there is the black tea, and then here is, you know, the same amount, the 3 grams of the white tea. Now, what's so unique about this tea in this area and all of this is that this guy went through, like I know sort of the story, and so this guy went through all of he started as a young guy, he screwed up really badly, he and then he, you know, he learned what he was supposed to do, and then he did it. And so what he did was when he started, he planted a bunch of cultivars. He's like, I'm going to be the tea master for everything, and he did blah 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 blah. And then most of the cultivars died, and then only the Chin-Chin oolongs lived. And then he just he just tore them all up and put in Chin-Chin oolongs. And that was like 20 years ago. And so he went through periods of time where he was extremely sort of famous in China. And so he was able to make a bunch of money, but also too, I don't know the whole story, nor do I particularly care. But he doesn't really sell too much to China anymore. Right. So that wasn't what he decided to do. And so what he's done is he's just done like narrowed in and narrowed in and narrowed in and narrowed in on this one area, doing the best of the best of the best of the best tea. Organic, hand-picked. Like the tea trees are just the most amazing things I've ever seen. And that's why I love going there, because the tea trees are just so amazing. Those are not gunshots. If you can hear them, that's just a temple lighting off fireworks. Never a dull moment in Taiwan, I'll tell you. Oh, F-16 flying by. When my here's the F-16 over there. When my boys were younger, I used to take them to what we called the train park, and there was a park where the trains would go back and forth. So the trains would go back and forth, and then it was right on the flight path for the F-16. So every morning around this time, you know, I'd take them out there, and we'd sit like right, you know, a couple meters away from the trains. They'd go boom, 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 and all the guys knew us, so they'd wave. And then the F-16s would fly like, you know, like maybe the most 200 meters above. And the like, you know, it's never a dull moment. Never a dull moment in Hualien. Anyways, it's like I said, it's fine. So it's not just a lot of fireworks happen in Taiwan. You could be sitting there for hours, total silence. The minute you go live, it becomes Times Square. Well, yeah, it's one of those things where if I was sitting here just by myself meditating, none of this thing would register. It wouldn't even register because it's so normal. It's like this is what it is living in this place that I love. Anyways, let's see if I can do this. I wanted to share screen. Oh, it works. Okay, so I can share the screen right on. Okay, sorry. So what I'm going to do, because this, oh, it says I have to quit and reopen on YouTube. This one. Okay, so very, very good question. So in YouTube now, I think I'm sharing it. Yes, I am. Perfect. It works. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do something kind of funny. So the question was, what makes the Snowmist tea area so unique? So here we go. You ready? This is going to be actually kind of funny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera around and I'm going to show you guys on Instagram. so I'm going to show you guys on Instagram. And so there we go. So I'm going to show you right here what makes the Snowmist Tea Garden so special. So here we go. You ready? Let's see. Should I can zoom it in a little bit. Anyways, whatever. Who cares? This is good enough. And so when you go in to this area, right? So let's look at here. So here is Taipei. Now, ringing Taipei all around here, you can see all this area right there below Taipei. That is actually mountains, right? So that's all mountains. And where we're going to go is up this pretty crazy road. So this is Yilan. Now check out this road. So this is how you get up there. Well, for me anyways. But take a look at that. I don't know if you guys have been to roads like that before, but you know, when you're looking at a road like this one right here, right? So you're looking at this road right here. I mean, it's just one of the most beautiful roads I have been on. It's a really famous sort of biking road, but it's insane. Now, another F-16, again, nothing to worry about. At least there's no fireworks this time. You can see this road. It goes up this mountain range just like that, and then you go up here. Now this is sort of any way you get up here is just hard. Now, one of the things when you get to about here, you can see there's some sort of places here. There's some places along here. There's some places around here, but basically it's empty, right? Basically it's empty. Now this is Baling, which is sort of phonetically similar to Bully. And it's a pretty crazy place. It's one of those mountain towns that you drive through and you know, it's a pretty rough and tumble town. Anyways, once you get up to this place, I drove that by scooter at night in the fog to get back to Taichung City from Yilan a couple years ago. Well, why would you do that? It only takes you to Taoyuan on the other side. But anyways, yes, it is. I've done it in fog at nighttime many, many times. Yes, it's a very windy road. I've done it in at nighttime and all. Anyways, get here, you take this turn off right here. You can see it right there. And then you go along this road, and then you have to make sure you hit this massive, crazy turn right here. It's this like 180 degrees turn. And then you go up, and then you start going up here, and you go up here, and you can go up here, and you pass this other little town. Let's see if I can drop you guys in here just so you can get an idea of just how crazy this, let's see just how crazy this road is. Actually, that's not too crazy. Anyways, that's not too crazy. But this road basically goes straight up. And so it goes straight up, and then you got to pass this place right here. And then you get to this place right here, which is Snowmist Tea Garden. Now, when you look at Snowmist Tea Garden, what's so unique about it? Well, one, it's off by itself, right? There's not a lot of stuff around here. That's number one. And number two, there's like nothing there. Let's see if I can drop you in. Can I drop you in? No. See, look, the Google guys didn't even make it that far, right? So you can't even make it. Like, nope, can't even drop in there, because this section of the road to get up there is like steep. It is insanely steep. It is just insanely steep. And this, anyways, this is the tea store right here. This is the the spot. Let's see. Come on, give me more pictures here. Oh, here we go. Okay. And there's people drinking tea. There's the springtime. There's a frog. That's one day when it snowed, but that's not their spot. That's somewhere else. Anyways, I don't know what the heck. Oh, there you go. Okay, so this is the place where we go when we drink tea, right? So that's the place where we drink tea, and it's. Anyways, I did not get to go up there for the first time in many years, and so I'm going to jump back in to I'm going to stop sharing my screen and jump back in. Okay, no, okay. So anyways, here we go. 1 second. I'm going to flip this around here. So you can see straight off the bat that area is it's extreme. It's an extreme place, and it's actually a little bit more extreme than most places. And it's so unique. It's such a unique area, right? It's such a unique area. It's a unique terroir. The land is unique. Everything about it is unique. And okay. There we go. Okay, stop sharing. Okay, there we go. Okay, so there we go. And hidden from Google is not necessarily a bad thing. Yes, hidden from Google is actually a really good thing in general. After they took away they changed their tagline. I don't know if you guys remember that. Anyways, the soil there is super fertile, but also super rocky. And anyways, so what you're getting is a terroir that's up there. It's about 1,200 meters, but there's nothing around it. And it's sort of this strange spot where a bunch of the really harsh winds come from the north. They hit the mountain that's in front of it, then they bounce off, and then they come through again. And so it's a really weird. It's really weird. It's a really weird spot, and that's what makes these teas so pure, right? So that's what makes these teas so pure. All right, so let's go into the oolong here. And I've had it. Don't drink the teas like this. Don't drink them like this. I mean, that's like, I don't know how long I've been sitting here talking about stuff, but don't drink these teas like this. I mean, I do because, but don't. Anyways, so what you get from this is high mountain oolong taste, but it is more immediate. It's stronger, makes you salivate. It's got all sorts of different things. And as the flavor goes sort of through your mouth, you're getting the pine trees and the wind and I can literally taste the terroir. I can taste the place absolutely in every way. Now, because it's strips, not balls, it doesn't last as many. Steeps as the ball rolled stuff, just very obviously. So oftentimes the first 2-3 steeps are where you're getting the most of the flavor out of this tea. But this year's tea it's not flat. It's slightly better than last year, not much better than 2 years ago, but not quite as good as 3 years ago. But it's good. It's good. I love this tea. I'm ordering more. This one, I drank all my tea from you. Well, thank you, doctor. Thank you very much. I guess I didn't even mention it. This tea will be released on Sunday at 10% off for people who are on the newsletter. All right. So 10% off for people that are on the newsletter. And it's the same way we release it every year. It will be, I'm releasing they're separate or they're together. So you can buy 3 of them at the same time. And there are 3 of them at the same time, or you can buy them separately. And They're not cheap, but it's like I mentioned at the start of this thing. I'm just so thankful and amazed and always appreciative that I can actually share this type of tea and everybody gets happy. Everybody gets happy. Usually with this type of tea, you have somebody in the chain who's a total asshole, who's a nasty, greedy person. So someone in the chain will jack up the price so high that you might try it and you'd go, wow, that tastes so good. How much is it? And they go, $1 million, and then that person is happy, but the farmer goes, come on, like, why are you doing that? And then the end user's like, I really like this tea, but it's so expensive. Though that really makes me angry. And when I sell these teas, I think I sell them at exactly the same price as they sell at retail, or even a little bit less. Like if you include the shipping, like the free shipping, it's less. It's less. And the reason I do it is because I hate gatekeepers. I despise gatekeepers. And also, I'm not sort of dumb. Like, it's really hard to sell this expensive tea. Like, it's really hard, and I just love making everybody along the line happy. And so it's really, really hard to sell tea that's this expensive. It's really, really, really tough to the Western market. To the Chinese Eastern market, okay, whatever. You can find people who buy it, but you need a really fancy package. But for the Western market, selling tea this expensive is really hard to do. Or selling this expensive, the tea that is this expensive, not tea that is that expensive. Anyways, whatever. You guys understand. Which gets me to another question. So right now, it's just this weird mix. The aftertaste is a weird mix of High Mountain Oolong, green tea, thick mouthfeel, but light. And if I just didn't drink anything else, I mean, this is 3 grams of this stuff, and I would just be able to drink this. It would just be, this aftertaste would just be indefinite, just indefinite. It would just last, for like an hour. So it's not as good as 4 years ago. Anyways, there's 1 year where it was just amazing. But it's way better than 2 years ago. Noticeably better than last year for the oolong and the black tea. And we'll just get to these. I mean, these are just, they're always awesome. I love the chrysanthemum. Right on. Well, thank you. YouTube just placed this in my feed. Hello, Mr. Runch Slam. Maybe I had a viral short about lotus flowers, so maybe that's why you're here. Welcome. So this black tea, it's almost got like green notes in it, green tea notes, but all of the good stuff that comes with High Mountain Blacks, but with more oolongy notes. Now, I'll show it to you. Hopefully you can see it. Now, the High Mountain Blacks, like right now, I bought all they had left. So there's no danger of the Qilai Shan High Mountain Black going out of stock for the next little while, which is nice. So I'm hoping, okay, I'm gonna put it on the white spoon so you can see it. Let's see if it works. Yeah, a little bit. Sort of on the YouTube, you can sort of see it. But there is a greenness to this black tea. And there's a greenness to this black tea for a bunch of different reasons. The biggest one simply being it's too cold up there. You can't get it to be 100% oxidized, right? You can't. It's impossible. Well, you can add heat to it, but they don't particularly like doing that. And so you get this really unique flavor. Now, also too, the better tea you get, the higher quality tea you get, the better it gets with age. And that just goes across the board, right? So the better the quality of tea, the better it gets with age. And this is no different. And so, I get this tea in, I let it sit for a week, I send it out, it takes a couple weeks to get to people. But the key to this tea, the key to it is to let it sit for a while as well. Once you get it, try it, but don't drink it all really super fast. Let it sit somewhere, store it the right way, airtight in a shelf somewhere, but drink it a little bit. right? Drink it a little bit over time, because like right now I'm drinking this and I'm like 6 more months. I'm just like in 6 months, there's, that sort of that um, greenish floral will turn into a beautiful rose, and that, almost, it's not sweet sour, but a little bit not quite fruity, sort of a little bit greenish fruity, that it'll literally ripen, and that's the word, ripen. um, I've been a tea head for 20 years. Okay, well there you go. That's if you have any questions about Taiwanese tea, then let me know. But Mr. Runch Slam, uh, then you're in the right place. You're in the right place. Um, and anyway, so this is what you're looking at when you're looking at this. Like, it's good now, but the longer you leave this, the better it is. Now, when I go up to this place, I drink all of these teas, and because I am very, very good friends with the folks who make this tea, I also get access to like the really interesting stuff, the really good stuff, the old stuff. And I'll tell you, like right now, I'm feeling a little bit of chachi, like just a touch. But the aged tea, like if you can buy some of this and set it aside and forget about it for 5 years, you'll get so drunk. You will get so tea drunk. This tea, when it ages, I remember one time I met him, the tea master at the tea fair, and he's like, come on, sit down. I'm like, okay, what do you got? Like, let's go. And he pulls out some 10-year-old aged white tea like this, and I drank a couple of them, and then I sat there and I was like, damn it, what did you do? And I was so tea drunk. I was in the middle of the fair, right? I was in the middle, and I had more people to see, and I'm just like, what? I can't do anything now. Like, you've made me so drunk that I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I literally had to walk away from the event. It was in the afternoon, thankfully. I was going back the next day. But he had given me this tea that was so powerful, so tea drunk. It got me so tea drunk at the fair that I literally just had to be like, now I actually have some of last year's white tea that I've got on a shelf. I don't know, a couple 100 grams of it. I kept it, and I've got it on a shelf, and I'm aging it so that I can get the same experience whenever I want it. But it was pretty funny, because he was laughing at me. He's sitting there, he's drinking it too, right? So he knows he's drunk. He's like tea drunk, and he's sitting there like watching the world go by, right? I was like, what did you do to me? Anyways, so if you can, age it for sure. How does the white tea from Taiwan compare to the traditional silver needles? I've never had an oolong from China before, and do not know how to compare them to a Taiwanese. So silver needles in general, what I know most about silver needles is, we'll just use India, because that's where it usually comes from. In China, oftentimes they hit the silver needle, of course, is just the end. They actually have specific cultivars that will have the bud that will be very big and silver and fluffy. And they just pick that in China because the labor's cheaper. In China, they do the same thing sometimes, but it's so wildly expensive that it, generally speaking, doesn't happen all that much. And if they do have it, it's probably from India anyways, for an affordable price. It is lighter, sharper, sweeter, whereas white teas in Taiwan, the buds in Taiwan are not that big. They're smaller buds. And in general, like if you look back on this feed going back, the buds here in this, the buds in this are smaller, and it's multiple leaves. So it's bud, 2 leaves. So the teas in the white teas in Taiwan are much more similar to like white tea cakes, picking for white tea cakes in China. Hopefully that answers your question quickly. If you have more questions, let me know. What does it taste like? So by now, if you guys have been watching the streams, you should know that was not an F-16. That is what is called an indigenous defense fighter. It's basically a clone of a Mirage 2000, a French fighter jet. They sound different. Obviously, you guys know that by now. They're a little louder. Anyways, what does it They really do. They just fly when the lives start. So this tea, like I even write it in the descriptions. It's basically, the soul of the Chin Chin cultivar. It's just the soul of the Chin Chin cultivar, and it is soft, flowing. There's a touch of vegetal to it, which you would not get in a silver needle, or in well, sometimes you get it in the aged white teas from the tea cakes from China. But it is, like, see, I'll pull out one of the pics here so you can sort of see. That one's a little bit too small. And when they do the white teas here, they actually, yeah, here you go. Here's a perfect example. So what you're looking at here, this is remember what I was saying before. Every single time, every single one is exactly the same. Whoa, there we go. And the YouTube too. There we go. Okay, there it's in both of them. So the tea master literally takes a look at the leaves and goes white, oolong, black, like that, and all from the same day. They'll make three or four different types of teas all from the same day, and so it's got more immediate florals, but it's also got a little bit more vegetal in the background. Right? It's got more vegetal in the background. Could you say which three teas you're drinking again? I'm on the site and looking through the site. Oh, sorry, it's these teas are not available yet. I apologize for that, Mr. Wrench Slam. These teas will be released on Sunday, so join the newsletter. So on the main page, throw your email in there. You get 10% off. They get released on Sunday. These are the Snow Mist teas. So these are the Snow Mist teas. They're not on the site right now. And I annoyingly usually get too excited when new teas come in. What I should do right now is I should be doing, the MPC thing where when people buy it, I go like, thank you, order, children eat, but I don't know, is that already gone? I can't make that joke anymore, but no, I generally speaking don't do that. I get too excited when the teas come in. I drink them on live streams and then release them a couple days later. But I found this is really quite interesting. When you do something like that, when you give people time, the quality of people that will buy the tea is just so exponentially better because, you guys are all 2 marshmallow people, right? You're all the 2 marshmallow people, and 2 marshmallow people are so much easier to deal with when you're a tea seller, like very early on in my career of being an entrepreneur, I figured out the 20-80 rule. The 20-80 rule, like 20% of the people give you 80% of the problems. And so I focus on never attracting the 20%. That's what I focus on. I literally focus on never attracting the 20% because those people are brutal. They are brutal. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I promised I'd talk a little bit. So anyways, the story is that I think right now, I'm the only sort of Western facing guy who does these teas. There was a guy who has another Western facing company who went up there, and the guy was really nice. The tea master was really nice, but he apparently did something like he lied about stuff. And now he's banished from going up there. And so I think it's only me that sells the Snow Mist teas. I don't know if anybody else. Have you ever seen the Snow Mist teas in a Western facing company? Anyways, I learned a lot about competitors and about how people do business through that story. And if you come in person, I'll tell you all about it, right? We'll put the phones in a different room and I can tell you that story. But yeah. I hope that meme is still going, but I haven't seen it around since last year. Yes. Well, I hope that meme is going. The MPC meme. If it goes away, I'm not going to cry. That was one of the, and like there was that famous woman who did it, and then, anyways, we won't go into that. I don't want to get demonetized. And I'm not particularly a gossipy type of person, but Anyways, battery must be removed from the phones as well. Well, in the other room, right? We just put the phones in the other room, and you know, why can't you remove the iPhone battery? I have no idea. That doesn't, you know, you know. So, but anyways, if you're post disclosure, then we know all that already. Um, anyways, let's go through some of the other questions. So somebody asked me a really good question. They asked me, your son's jade business, and we have been slowly accumulating the jade, and I am hoping that we can get up the website soon, but we're not that motivated. And the reason we're not that motivated is because the school that we started with my son. So, anyways, this backstory is last summer I gave out a bunch of jade in a box, and then I was going to start a jade business with my son because you can actually pick up jade in a river here. So you just walk through the river and pick up the jade. And we were going to start a business selling the jade online to pay for his schooling, but the school has just gotten so busy that we just don't have that much time to do it. But we have everything set up. Everything's bought. Everything is set up. Literally everything is set up to go. But here, I'll show you. Check this out. Check this out. 1 second. I'm gonna leave. Here it is. Here it is. I'll show you. So out here, this is where all the jade is. And so you can see we've got these really beautiful pieces of jade that need to be polished up. And some of them are kind of big, you know, like it's just a beautiful, like that's a big solid piece of jade. And it's a lot of work to get that stuff up and going. And so we haven't actually done it. But we're planning to. So anyways, if somebody actually really wants jade, then, you know, get in touch. I've got lots of jade. And I mean, I used to call it sustainably harvested. And then a local person who's an asshole was like, you can't say it's sustainable because it comes from the mountain and blah, blah, blah. Like, well, yeah, but I'm not digging it with a big digger and destroying wildlife and the environment. We're literally finding it in the river and going, yeah, jade, you know, like that's, anyways, it's low impact harvested. And if you know what you're doing with rocks, you know, like you might have fun with that. So that was that question. T-clips. I'll get the T-clips. Somebody asked me to get the T-clips. I'll get the T-clips. What's the next one? So we did the Snow Mist Terroir. Baozong. So somebody asked, what's going on with the Baozong? And the answer is I don't actually know. And the reason I don't actually know is because the old master Baozong, what they do is they slowly pick for like a month, and then they put all of their productions together, and then they sell it. And so this year is a little bit slower, and so they're going to be doing that at the end of May. So what plane is that, guys? You guys know the sound, right? What sound is that? F-16, right? Different sound than the Mirage, or the Indigenous Defense Fighter. Anyways, yeah, my life is kind of strange. So the Baozongs, I haven't actually tried them yet. I'm going to go up and I'm going to do like a serious tasting of a bunch of different Baozongs, and that'll be probably the mid to late this month, and then Old Master Baozong will be at beginning of June. So first week of June, Old Master Baozong goes out, and the Baozongs for me, it's a really tough one because the Baozongs for me, it's a really tough one because the Old Master Baozong is so much higher than all the other Baozongs. It's really tough for me to get the other ones. even though I know they're more affordable and they're fine. Some of them are really nasty, like chemical laden and just terrible. But there's some that are really nice. They're really good and not so expensive. And so I don't. It's hard for me to get motivated to get the ones in the middle. And this year I'll try hard. Okay, people have been asking me. I'll try hard to do it. I remember that in Hualien. Yes, yes. Um, but now you guys should know the difference in the sound between the planes, right? Because that was on the live stream today. Are there any Hualien pots possibly getting fired? There's a ton of them, and I just haven't. I've stayed close to home after the earthquake and things like that, and there's another thing I got to do. Maybe next week, because all I have to do is go there and take a bunch of pictures, and that's what I should do. So maybe next week I'll do that. Why don't I write that down? And teacups, like I ordered a bunch of teacups. And so there'll be, I ordered like 30 or 40 teacups. No, 60 or 70 teacups, I think. Anyways, I ordered a bunch of teacups. So I got to go and do that. Get those teacups. Yeah. Here was a really, really, really good question. I was thinking about it, and I've got a really succinct answer to it. Right, a really succinct answer to this one. So the question was, what's the difference between the domestic versus international tea market? And I've been asked this a bunch of times. I'll get to that question in a second. But I'll do this one first, because I started the domestic versus international. So Taiwanese versus international. I've talked about this before. But the heart of the matter is preconceived notions or stereotypes or cultural mores that are firm. And so, to give you an example, like if I was starting if I had a tea garden, I would be, because I know that I have a bunch of really educated, intelligent people who trust me online. If I had a tea garden, I would be doing so much crazy things. Like I would be doing, Hong oolongs and red white teas, and I'd try and do a gray tea, and also like I do just crazy things. And I would try and create new tastes and new flavor profiles and see how they age. And I would just be doing all sorts of different things like that, because that's how I view tea. I view tea as something that is really unique and ever changing, very dynamic. And all of these things. I just love the leaf and I love the process. But here, if you deviate too far from the norm, you will get attacked by the crabs in a bucket. All right. So if you're up in the high mountains and you create a red oolong that's too good, then everybody around you will just try and start making the red oolong. And then everybody will say, oh, red oolongs from that area suck because you had a really good one. And then everybody copied you, and crabs in a bucket. So everybody just sort of does, if you're a high mountain, you do the high mountain oolong. You do 20% oxidized. You don't mess around. You don't do anything else. And the only people that are really doing new things are the ones that are in the low elevation that oftentimes have a lot of production, like a lot of leaves to experiment with. And they do the normal stuff, and then they experiment with the other stuff. And those are the people that I enjoy the most, right? And then the people up on the mountains that do the really classic stuff, obviously that's good as well. I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that's bad, but that would be the big difference, right? So when you go into, say for example, you go into a store in Taiwan, and the store says Dongding Oolong, it all tastes the same, sort of. Crappier versions of the Old Master Dongding, right? Crappier versions of the Old Master Dongding that I have on the site. But if you go to a Western sort of vendor and you get a Dongding Oolong, it could be green, it could be roasted, it could be old, it could be new. It's just vast differences, because there's not that expectation, there's not that knowledge, there's not that Dongding Oolong tastes like this in the West. And that's, for me, that's the biggest difference between the two, right? So to give you an example, if I get in like the classic tasting Alishan, it doesn't sell. It just doesn't sell. Like the local market, that's all people ask for, right? Give me the Alishan Oolong. They taste it. Oh, that's good. That's it. That's all they want. Whereas if I have, Alishan Oolong, the Western market, people don't want it. And the reason they don't want it is because they can get it anywhere, right? Like all the vendors will have that, but they want something different. They want something new. They want to be pushed to their limits. They want to have an opinion, right? Whereas in Taiwan, in the local market, you don't want to have an opinion. You just want to say, okay, that's good, right? You don't want to have an opinion because I think, well, there's two reasons. One, obviously, it's a society where face is really important. So having an opinion about something is not something that most people do. But the second one is they all have an uncle who talks, digested food about tea, right? There's always that uncle who's like, what's this tea? This tea tastes like crap. This is no good. Let me tell you how to make a tea. They all have that uncle. And so nobody wants to be that person, right? So whenever I get into the places where like I'll be drinking somewhere and I'll be like, here, try this tea. And then I'll be with my friend. And then somebody else will come in and be like, what is this? Is this a red oolong? Look what they did to the leaves. Da, da, da. And then they'll go off on this stupid rant about what you should do for a red tea or a black tea or blah, blah, blah. And they won't talk about what it tastes like. And that's extremely common, right? That's extremely, extremely, extremely common. And so that would be the biggest difference between the sides. Why isn't pu'er more commonly made in Taiwan? Because pu'er needs a really, really good old tree to make a good pu'er. The weather is also kind of different. Hey, somebody bought some tea. Thank you. Kids can eat. But Mr. S, thank you very much. And it's just not suitable to make that style. The cultivar is wrong, and the cultivar is wrong, and the weather is actually kind of wrong most of Taiwan. And basically, to make a good pu'er, you need the best of the best of the best leaves, in the world. And you just pick them and you lay them in the sun, basically, right? You manipulate them a little bit, you lay them in the sun, and they create a beautiful tea. And that's what you need. And Taiwan doesn't have the best of the best tea leaves. They have the best of the best tea masters, but not the best of the best tea leaves. Really appreciate all the info. I think only Don Mays is good about that. Even really reputable sites don't have a very good job of providing cultivar season, etc. Yes, and they absolutely don't. And I think I've seen it a couple times. I think he doesn't he have like doesn't he have like I think scope or something? I saw it sometime, but he had like when you're looking for tea, you got to look for the season, the cultivar, the whatever O is, whatever the P is, something like that. And it was really, I wish everybody would do that. I wish everybody would put that out there, right? Because it's really important. But yes, yeah, for sure. Do the stainless steel travel cups really change the taste of the tea? Very much. Yeah, scope. Yeah. Do the stainless steel travel mugs really change the taste of the tea? I would say yes, but that much, I would say no. So, and I'm stepping into it. Like, if I have a choice, I don't use them. And in fact, I don't really use them very much anymore at all because I don't do trips into the mountains. But if you're up in the mountains and you're using like beautiful water from the spring and you got the little stove and you make the tea up in the mountains where you really want to use stainless steel like instruments so that they can make it there and not break, then it doesn't actually matter that much because you've got the beautiful water and the beautiful surroundings. But if you have a choice and you're in the city and you're doing something like this, absolutely, it's better to not use the stainless steel stuff. So I guess that would be that's why I call them the stainless steel travel mugs. As they call them, travel mugs. Or travel cups, because I think I got a few left. But the place where I get them, which is a local supermarket, finally has started phasing out their old man teacups, and so I think that's going to be hard for me to find those. I really got to get my teaware game going. I really have to do it. I feel so bad because my teaware game is probably one of the worst in the industry, and not so much because it just I'm good at finding the teas. Anyways, so there we go. Yes, I think that was all the questions. That was all the questions. And here, let me see if I can do it. Here we go. Let's see which one will pop. Oh, this one will pop. So check it out. See, this is the thing, right? Like, see, check this out. Check this out. So you got the jade. It looks like that. Put a little water on it, and then you get the pops. It pops. And so what you can do with the jade is you polish it up, and then you can get the jade just becomes really beautiful. Anyways, I gotta get on the jade, but it's not an emergency, thankfully. Thankfully, it's not an emergency. In the summertime, generally speaking, in the summertime, there's a lot less tea being sold by me and by everybody, and so that's when there's no problems, but I always start getting nervous. Like every year it happens. Anyways, always learning an immense amount from every stream. Your Heicha and Sheng are the best teas on the planet. Yes, well, they certainly were, and I'm hoping to find a replacement for them soon. I do miss them for sure. Keep doing what you're doing, finding the teas. Well, that's what I try and do. That's what I'm best at. And it's always interesting because I'm not going to say it, but there's a certain thing that most of the big, I'll like I do this by myself, right, with my family. And I came across tea, fell in love with it, and I've been doing it for 5 years. And I am extremely unique in the sort of in general in the tea industry, and certainly in the Western-facing tea industry. I'm extremely unique in the sense that I have no family connection to tea. Let's put it that way. No family connection to tea. And so I just, what I'm really, really good at is finding the teas, finding the best teas in Taiwan. Like I did a big thing this month. Subscription box has these 2 teas in it, along with other teas. And I did a big thing of price versus value versus quality, and finding the right mix between those. Entirely subjective, of course. But I did a big thing about writing about how I choose the teas and the price versus the quality versus the value and all those things. And anyways, it's important to me. Whatever. I'm just running out of steam. How long are we doing? Oh, it's about an hour now. Okay. So, remember with these teas, enjoy the first 3 steeps. With the white teas just last forever. But these 2 teas, the first 3 steeps are just dramatically beautiful, just wonderful. But then as you keep going, because they're the strip teas, surface area, then, you're going to lose a little bit of the punch, the really beautiful nature of the teas as you go. The white tea just lasts forever, a million steeps. But they will be for sale on Sunday at the usual time, which is about 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, about 7 a.m. Pacific. And I don't think, like in some years when I was only getting a little bit of them, they would sell out within a couple minutes. This year, I think they'll last a couple days, more than that, maybe a month, right? So, but if you're interested in these teas, it's best to get them sooner rather than later. Okay, well, nice to meet you. Thank you for watching. I think that's about it. I think I'm going to go. Yeah. So thank you to everybody who has bought tea. It's literally goes into my children's bellies. My sons have 6 packs, and they're very, very strong. And we wonder, where does it all go? We like shovel food at them, and we're like, shh, and but that's where it goes. So if you buy tea, I mean, it goes to the farmer and it goes into my children's stomachs. That's about it. So thank you very much for supporting my family, my friends who are the tea farmers and Mountain Stream Teas. Last call for questions. Last call for questions. Let's see if I can. Here we'll do another pop. Right. Low impact harvested. Low impact. Like there you go. Beautiful jade. Raw jade. And what you can do is you can actually just put like a mineral oil or various types of oil on it, and it'll still pop pretty well. But it's better if you just put a sheen, put a polish on it. But anyways, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to try and do at least one of these a week or more. And I'll do it sort of early in the morning, and I'll also put out the time better. So I'll be like, okay, it's going to be this day at this time. But anyways, thank you everybody for watching. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, then get in touch. I am going to go and pack up some tea and send it all out. Wherever you are in the world, I certainly hope you have an amazing morning, evening, night. Sleep well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next live stream.